Something rattled Downing Street this morning, and it wasn't a Tory ambush or a tabloid scandal. No, this time it came from Starmer's own side. A quiet deal he proudly struck with the EU has just exploded into a headline-grabbing backlash, threatening to hike your electricity bills and drag Britain back under Brussels' thumb. And the warning? It didn't come from a political rival. It came from an expert, one who's now sounding the alarm on what could be one of Starmer's most costly missteps yet. Let's break it down, but first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Something's just landed, and if you're Keir Starmer, it's the kind of wake-up call that turns your entire morning upside down. His shiny new EU deal, pitched as a reset in UK-EU relations, is already blowing up in his face. Not because of political infighting or backlash from Tory MPs, but because it's now projected to cost British energy customers a staggering £200 million more per year. Let that sink in. At a time when families are already struggling with inflation, record food bills, and rising taxes, this government is now quietly pushing through a policy that could make our electricity even more expensive. All in the name of cooperation with Brussels. So what's actually happening? Well, Starmer has just pushed forward a new agreement to link the UK's emissions trading scheme, the UK ETS, with the EU's carbon trading system. Now, if you're not familiar with that, these are essentially carbon markets. They put a price on how much CO2 companies are allowed to emit. The idea is to reduce emissions by making pollution more expensive. Great in theory. But here's the problem. The EU's carbon prices are significantly higher than the UK's, and by tying ourselves to them, we're dragging our prices up too. Enter energy consultant Catherine Porter. She's not a politician, she's not pushing a party line, she's an independent analyst. And she's just gone on record saying that this deal could add over £200 million every year to our electricity bills. Why? Because linking with the EU system effectively removes the surplus of carbon allowances we had in the UK, something that's helped keep our prices lower due to deindustrialization. In other words, we had a cushion, we had breathing space, and Starmer just gave it away for free. Porter puts it bluntly. There are no obvious benefits to UK consumers. This so-called level playing field just means Britain is surrendering its advantage to meet Brussels' demands, and working people get slapped with the bill. And this isn't just about domestic policy, it's a clear political signal. Starmer is showing the EU that he's ready to reverse Brexit-era separation and start aligning Britain with European regulations once again. But in the process, he's also signalling to British industries that they'll have to get used to higher costs, tighter rules, and less flexibility. The government's defense? Well, they're claiming this move is about avoiding future tariffs, specifically the EU's incoming carbon border adjustment mechanism, or CBAM. It's a tax that the EU will impose on countries that don't meet their climate standards. Their argument is that aligning now will shield UK businesses from that tax when it comes into force next year. But here's the catch: the savings from that are questionable at best. A report from Frontiers Economics, which, by the way, was commissioned by energy companies, estimates that we might save £770 million over 4 years by aligning with the EU system. That sounds decent until you realise that this deal was already forecasted to cost £200 million every single year in higher electricity bills. So essentially, any savings are wiped out by the inflation we're importing from Brussels. So let's be honest. This isn't about protecting the consumer, it's about political optics. It's about being seen to cooperate with the EU, even if it means pushing British households into even more economic pain. Once again, Starmer is putting international image over domestic reality. And there's an even bigger issue lurking beneath all this. By aligning with the EU's carbon system, we're giving up control over how we price emissions, control over how we structure our own carbon policies, and ultimately control over our economy. Some experts are warning this could be a strategic mistake. Andy Mayer from the Institute of Economic Affairs said the smarter move would have been to slash our carbon costs, use that as a competitive advantage, and attract investment in both traditional and low-carbon industries. Instead, we're voluntarily locking ourselves into a system that's more expensive, more rigid, and less responsive to British needs. Starmer could have used this opportunity to set Britain apart, create a carbon strategy that worked for us, attracted green investment, and kept bills low. Instead, he's chosen to reattach the UK to a Brussels-based scheme that increases costs for. In other news, an EasyJet flight resulted in absolute horror for a Spanish traveller after she was left shocked by the behaviour of English tourists on a flight to Ibiza. Erica Barachina shared a video on Instagram of her 2.5-hour flight from London to Ibiza, where Britons can be heard shouting and singing. The Spaniard described the disruptive passengers as animals who should not be allowed to board a plane. She urged Britons who are looking for a party holiday to not visit Ibiza, which is a popular hotspot for British partygoers, and to stay at home. In a lengthy caption, Barachina wrote, "My trip yesterday, London Ibiza with EasyJet, was an absolute horror. The allegedly drunk passengers left the women scared as they screamed and drank multiple bottles of alcohol during the wild flight. The disruption prevented the flight attendants from doing their job, according to the women." Airlines highlight that flight attendants are crucial for ensuring passenger safety and comfort during flights. They are trained in emergency procedures, first aid, and customer service, and play a vital role in maintaining order and providing assistance throughout the journey. She claimed, "Before boarding the plane, they were already drunk, high. Taking pills and alcohol at the same time, I saw it with my own eyes, was a very, very wild 2.5-hour flight. This can't be allowed. These people should not be allowed to board a plane or sell alcohol inside." The traveller said she had a really, really bad time. Barachina's calls for a restriction on party tourism in Ibiza echo messages from popular European tourist spots. More than 130,000 furious anti-tourism protesters took to the streets of the Canary Islands at the weekend, calling for fewer tourist apartments, more Canarian homes, ahead of the summer holiday season. The Spanish city of Barcelona has also experienced protests, with locals unhappy with tourism in the region. It is known for its vibrant nightlife, with numerous nightclubs, superclubs, and beach clubs that attract a large number of partiers, especially during the summer months. EasyJet have yet to comment. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.